We're speaking with Phil Costner, chef, operations leader, and highly respected industry veteran who has now set his sights on La Madeleine. Stay tuned for the next in our series of Leaders with Guts. Phil, how do you fight back against government intrusion concerning menu do's and don'ts?
Well, first, okay, to be very frank and honest with you, we don't fight back, okay? We don't. We comply. The very first thing we do is we've got to, we have to separate our personal beliefs out of what's best for the brand. And what's best for the brand right now is to comply with the rules and the regs that are coming out. And we do. Without prejudice, without delay, we take the necessary steps to get it done. Having said that, on a personal level, I think it's on a very personal level, I think it's absolutely ridiculous the level that our government is involved in our industry today. We're at war. We have an economy, we have an economic crisis going on. We have a homeless crisis. We have a health care issue, on the table. To me, it's unfathomable that menu regulations, the amount of salt or calories or even trans fats can even be a blip on the screen on the priority list of the government with all of that going on. It's ridiculous.
But a lot of it starts in New York, where I live, and California, and then it creeps into the federal agenda. Do you ever see that changing?
I wish I could say yes to that, but actually I think it's going to be a lot worse before it ever gets better, and I'm not sure it's ever going to get better.
Do you think it's because of the obesity epidemic?
I think that's the I think that's the trigger that starts all the conversations, and this is certainly not the first time that I've shared my view that I'm not a fan of childhood obesity at all. I mean, I have a child. I'm a fan of healthy children and children who eat right every day and are well nourished. But I'm also a fan of great parenting, and I don't think that the restaurant industry as a whole is the culprit here. I think that this is about people having to get out of their chairs and walk around and do something besides eat and drink 44 ounces of soda pop.
What do you think the restaurant industry as a whole needs to do to attract top performers to its workforce?
I think we do attract top performers. I mean, look at guys like Jeff Sinelli, Antonio Swad, Clay Dover, Richard Sneed, Mike Archer, Jeff Warren, Steve Bugliarelli, Steve Anderson. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's a lot of talent roaming around this industry, and I think that question really might be at the. I think what you might be talking about is those young people coming right out of college. How do we attract the college grads? And I think it's like anything else. I think we've got to offer. I think the restaurant industry has got to offer a challenging career, something that's very rewarding, that offers work-life balance. I don't know. That's a tough one to answer because I think we do.
La Madeleine has a pretty healthy menu. Do you think that gives you an advantage in the pending menu labeling legislation?
Well, probably one of the best kept secrets about the La Madeleine menu is, in fact, there are a lot of healthy options on our menu. We're very indulgent in nature, and so I think that oftentimes we're viewed as a very indulgent brand without a lot of those choices. So we are. Does it offer us an advantage? No, I don't think so. I think menu labeling is going to have an equal impact across the board, and none of which I think will be good.
Many executives in the restaurant industry, such as yourself, are not happy about the mandated health care, but the rank and file employees are thrilled. How does the restaurant industry speak with one voice?
Well, I'm not an expert I'm not an expert on that at all, and nor am I a politician. But I will say that somehow the formula has got to yield a health care option for all of our employees across the industry at an expense that the business can bear. And and I know that's pie in the sky thinking, but I really think that that's where we've got to get to. And I think that what we've got on the table today is out of balance. From what I've seen, and again, I'm not an expert, but from what my staff has showed me and from what we have discussed so far within La Madeleine, over the course of the next several years, the costs to the business are going to be stifling, and we're really going to, and we're not the only ones. I mean, a lot of companies are going to go out of business.
But do you think that, in the past, the smoking issue was a big issue, smoking in restaurants, and the restaurant community was up in arms over it, saying it's going to kill our business, and many businesses survived. Do you think there's some essence out there of crying wolf?
I do, but I think those are different topics. I think the smoking issue was about lost sales. I think the outcry there was, I have a large whoever my base consumer is smokes, and now it's illegal to smoke in my establishment, so they're going to go across to the next state or to the next county, and I'm going to lose business that way. I think the healthcare issue is about cost. It's not about it has nothing to do with sales. It's about I'm not going to lose sales over it. I'm simply just not going to be able to stay in business. I can't withstand the cost. And the unfortunate reality is at some point those costs have got to be passed through, and so that's why I think a lot of the, especially the smaller companies, are going to really suffer through this.
What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the restaurant industry in the next decade?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges are government intervention. I think the menu labeling, I think the rules and regs that we've been talking about potentially coming into play are going to have a staggering effect on this industry. I had one other thought and I forgot it.
Phil, what do you think is the best thing about working in the restaurant industry?
Well, I think the best thing is that it's the restaurant industry is such a collaborative. It's a happy industry. Ours is an industry that revolves a lot around celebrations. We're celebrating weddings and graduations and birthdays and promotions and dates and relationships, etc. I mean, there's a lot of happiness in our industry, and then on top of that, on the let's call it the back end of this, as an employee, there's a lot of camaraderie. We talked before about how there are so few industries where a group of executives will come together and really share parts about their businesses in hopes that all boats rise, that you never see in other industries. So in that respect, I mean, there's a lot of great things about this industry.
Do you think the restaurant industry could learn something from other industries, and if so, what industry?
That's a tough question. I think if anything, we might be able to take something cultural from the technology industry, just because of the rate of change. The rate of change in the technology industry is so rapid, but it's not just change for the sake of change, it's better. The rate of change in the technology industry, it all seems to be faster, lighter, less expensive, easier to use. And if we could take anything from that to help our consumers move through the industry quicker with more ease, better value, that's probably a good thing.
We've been talking with Phil Costner, COO of La Madeleine. Check out the next part of this series as we explore what it takes to be a leader with guts. For Food Channel Pro, I'm Ellen Codiff.